behalf of Alaska Airlines and my precipitation in the Magic Carpet. And I must say I'm also happy to be here with Elgin. I was born November 1916, and I'm still here. My part in the Magic Carpet happened by circumstance. In 1949, the fighting had slowed down in the Near East, and Alaska got involved with the Joint Jewish appeal with sending crews and airplanes from Seattle area to Tel Aviv and to Asmara. They used Asmara, which was about the halfway point, to pick up fuel as a maintenance base. That operation sort of slowed down. It wasn't very productive, I guess. And in September, Alaska Airlines had sold a plane, a DC-4, I guess they didn't need, to the Joint Jewish appeal. I believe they were very involved in it, of course. Anyway, maintenance erased Alaska Airlines and put down Near East Airlines. So it had to go to Tel Aviv, and I volunteered to ferry it from Seattle area to Tel Aviv, which I did. We got to Tel Aviv, and the people there sent my crew back to Seattle, and they asked me if I would stay and fly the DC-4 to Aden. I was a little hesitant because I was kind of worried about the tensions and the problems in the Near East at that time. But I thought our boys had been flying it for 5 months, so I'll take a chance. So I called Seattle, and they said, yes, you can stay in Tel Aviv. So the maintenance people took out all of the seats in the DC-4. Normally would carry 48 passengers, and they put in wooden benches with a center aisle and a wooden rope for a seat belt. I flew that on the first flight from Tel Aviv, left at about 6 o'clock in the evening. It was getting dark, and we flew across the Sinai and along the Bay of Aqaba to the Red Sea, turned left and headed down the Red Sea with Egypt on the right and Saudi Arabia on the left. This was the normal routine. When the next day after we got to Aden, we went out the airport at 7 o'clock. Our plane, the DC-4, was on the tarmac, and I saw about, looked like 500 people squatting under the wing. I asked the operations people, my goodness, how many people are you going to put on this airplane? They said 140. I said, aren't we worried about the gross weight of the airplane? They said, no, they're all less than 5 foot tall, and half of them are women and children. Weight is no problem. So that's what we carried, average. Put them on the airplane, fasten the belt and the ropes, and away we went. Now, this flight, if any of you people lived in Anchorage or before the piston age, it would be like flying from Anchorage to Seattle about 8 hours at a speed of 220 knots. So it turned out the flights were routine. So I did that for about 6 weeks, and seemed we cleaned up everything in Aden. And I flew the remaining C-46 back from Tel Aviv to cross the Mediterranean and cross the Atlantic and cross the United States back to Everett. And that ended my precipitation. I was very glad to be involved, and I could remember some of these things like they were yesterday. And for the final chapter, there's an exhibit in the room here, and it's January. My daughter Susan and granddaughter Lillian, we were in Hawaii for a short vacation. And in the international market, I saw a kiosk, and I was looking at some of the buildings looking out of the trees. And I wanted to get orientated, and I asked this young lady, "What's the name of that hotel?" She says, "I don't know. I don't live here." I said, "Well, you look like a Hawaiian. Where are you from?" She says, "I'm from Israel." And I said, "Israel? Do you ever hear of the Magic Carpet?" She said, "Yes. My mother and my grandmother were from Aden to Tel Aviv. Her mother must have been about 5 or 6 years old, I would guess. Anyway, there they were, descendants of a lady that I helped to get to Israel.